Lord, getting us ready for that great day. My Lord's getting us ready for that great day. My Lord's getting us ready for that great day. Well, then who shall be able to stand? My Lord getting us ready for that great day. Yeah, my Lord's getting us ready for that great day. My Lord's getting us ready for that great day. Yeah, then who shall be able to stand? Lightning will be flashing on that great day. Lightning will be flashing on that great day. Lightning will be flashing on that.
Monday is in June, and we hope to see you. This is really a special series because you're here. And, you know, we need you guys to be here, otherwise, you know, it's no fun. So, behind the screen is the Who Dat Loungers. Stick around. We're going to have some dancing after the rock and roll. Hey, right? You got to watch rock and roll, then you got to move to it. And it's my band, new band, kind of testing it out tonight. But hopefully you'll like it. Have a good time.
Getting us ready for that great day. Well, then who shall be able to stand? My Lord getting us ready for that great day. Yeah, my Lord's getting us ready for that great day.
Rock and roll, right, darling?
We're ready to go.
Okay, fantastic. Hello, darlings. I'm TV host Cognac Wellerlane. And we are in the here at the Bay Street Theater series, and I'm here with award-winning filmmaker Mr. Joe Lauro. And you're going to explain to my audience about this event tonight.
Okay, well, what we have is a series that we're kicking off tonight, and it's called The Legends. And what we've done is we've combed the greatest archive of music in America, historic films, and we've put together 4 programs, tonight being the first one, that will show the legendary musicians of our time. Tonight's is rock and roll, performing in their heyday off of original tapes, master tapes. It's going to look fabulous, it's going to sound great, and it's going to preserve these wonderful people at the time when they were really happening. And we're going to put it through a great sound system.
Well, they're still happening. Don't you think they're still happening?
They're still happening, either alive or on record. They're happening. That's right. And they're going to be happening tonight, no doubt.
Okay, I can't wait. Now, I understand that you actually became involved with rock music because of going to a concert, the Grateful Dead, at the age of 15.
Yeah, sure.
Is that really true, that you really were smitten with rock and roll from that one experience?
Well, I tell you, of course, I was always interested in the Beatles from the time I was 8 or 9 years old, but I had a sister, an older sister, who was, you know, instead of babysitting me, she'd take me to the Fillmore East, and I started when I was about 13, and the first show I saw was the Grateful Dead.
She used to smuggle you in, huh?
She smuggled me in because it was better than sitting home in Massapequa. She'd get me on the train.
Is that where you're from, Massapequa?
Massapequa Park, that's right. That's right.
Now, how did you just get involved with all of this, with this music and the footage and the filming? And you have your own company, too.
That's right. Well, as a kid, I always was interested in old music, for everything from Al Jolson to the Beatles. And I was always a collector.
You have quite an extensive archive.
Yeah, the archive is great. And, you know, I got out of college. I needed to do something. I went to NYU Film School and started the company around 1991. And, you know, we have the Ed Sullivan archive. We have the Don Kirshner Rock Concert, which we own.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
I
just
understand
little
now
by little, more and more all the time.
I understand now that you own rights to the Jackie Gleason show, too. Is that true?
Well, we have certain rights to it. Yeah, we don't own the show, but we're representing it on behalf of Jackie's 2 lovely daughters.
How did that come about?
I kind of sought them out.
You sought them out.
I remember the show, and I knew that they were around, and our paths crossed a few times because Jackie Gleason was actually the first person to present Elvis Presley on television, national television.
Are you serious?
That's right. He had a show, a replacement show for his series that was called Stage Show, and was hosted by Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey. And Elvis made his first television appearance on their show, which belonged to Jackie. So because I have the Ed Sullivan stuff and the Steve Allen stuff, when anybody needs footage of Elvis in the 50s, they come to me. And they're also looking for that stuff. So he's a little harder to find because Jackie's family doesn't have a company. They just kind of, people have to, you know, seek them out. So whenever we have a request for Elvis, we'd call him, say, hey, you know, we could sell your stuff for you too. And we became friends. And after a while, I just said, hey, man, let me handle your shows.
I love Jackie Gleason.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Honeymooners.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, the Live from Miami is the show that I remember. The Honeymooners was a bit before my time when it was originally on. But I remember as a kid in Brooklyn, and Saturday night, you know, Live from Miami.
I remember that. I remember that
you know.
too. I was a kid. I remember that also.
And of course, how could you forget the Joe the bartender and Crazy Guggenheim? You know, hello, Joe. You know, that whole routine was memorable.
Well, he was brilliant, Jackie Gleason, wasn't he? I mean, he was really a brilliant person.
He's truly one of the great clowns of our time. He truly, maybe the last truly great clown who used mime and comedy, you know, like Charlie Chaplin and all the silent clowns. There's a filmmaker that we represent. Her name is Emily Rothschild. And Emily was a film student. She was working in the city at the time. I think she had just gotten her doctorate or her master's at NYU, but she was a filmmaker. She was working on a project, and she also worked at the Fillmore East, I believe, with the sound show. I hope I'm getting this right, Emily. And anyway, she had heard in advance that at this Frank Zappa gig, Lennon was going to show up with Yoko Ono. So she had a camera she was using for a project. She used some of the trims of film that she had left over from the project, and she brought it to the Fillmore East. And when Lennon was about to get on stage, she started rolling. And it's a wonderful moment because no one had seen him because the Beatles had broke up maybe 6 months prior, you know, before that. And so, you know, Lennon was a god, and just for him to appear, and here he is in a little theater of 2,000 people, you know, it was quite an experience. She caught it on film. Unfortunately, I'm not showing it tonight. She requested that I do not because she is a little afraid of Yoko Ono and Frank Zappa's wife, and like she's going to come in a helicopter and shut the place down.
Yeah.
But I have to respect Emily. She's a wonderful filmmaker and a great photographer.
Well, no, she's right about that.
Yeah.
You know,
if anybody wants to see the clip, they can come by my office by appointment.
Okay, I'm going to come by your office and look at that clip. I'm a Beatle fan. I truly am, and I'm sure you are as well.
We got some Beatles tonight.
Oh, you do have some Beatles.
Well, the Beatles are really the beginning. My music.
They got their start from the Ed Sullivan Show. Isn't that how it worked? I mean, they really went on the Ed Sullivan Show first. That was their introduction into the United States?
Yes, Ed broke them in America. They were huge in Europe, particularly in England. And when they came here, they didn't know. They thought America, but you know, they got off the plane and there were thousands of girls waiting for them, and the rest, everybody knows the story. And yes, Ed Sullivan. The Ed Sullivan Show was like Dancing with the Stars and like, you know, all the top shows now.
American Idol.
It was the American Idol of the day. If you were on that show, all of America was watching you every week. You have made it if you were on the Ed Sullivan Show. So that was a big deal.
What did you win an award for?
Louis Prima, The Wildest, won several awards as Best Documentary. The Howlin' Wolf story about the blues singer Howlin' Wolf won the Blues Award of the Year. I know that. So, yeah, I mean, there's been awards here and there. You know, we've never gotten nominated for
You're so modest. Well, that might be coming up, darling. You just never know.
Well, you want to know the new film that we just finished?
Yes, I do want to know about the new film. Tell me. Tell us.
It's called Rejoice and Shout, and it is the history of gospel music in America, African-American gospel. It's playing in festivals right now and doing very well, and it is going to be in theaters come the fall.
Wow.
So hopefully that's going to be the one that's going to get us to either a Grammy nomination or whatever. Not that I don't do it for that reason, but it's always nice when the industry, you know, recognizes you with some nomination like that.
I so agree.
Then I get to be on more shows like this, right?
Yeah. Tell my audience if they want to find out more information about you. Do you have a website? Does your company have a website?
Yes, www.historicfilms.com is
Wonderful.
where you could look at the sorts of things.
Wonderful. Also, are you on Facebook?
I personally am, yeah.
You personally am, not your company.
No, I personally am.
All right.
I talk to friends. Well, because I have a band. My band is playing tonight, the Who Dat Loungers. We play all New Orleans music, and we're a new band, and we're going to be, I promote a lot of the gigs through Facebook while we're getting our site together,
Okay. So. Sounds all good, darling.
That's showbiz.
That's showbiz.
Right.
And we're ready to rock and roll. We'll be back in a moment, darlings, with more celebrity interviews. Keep watching. Pink Champagne.
I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fallacy dressed to impress. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.